There is a moment in Lawrence of Arabia where a man smiles after killing someone.
They can only kill me with a golden bullet.
Not out of necessity, not out of survival, but because something inside him awakens. David Lynch's masterpiece is often remembered for its deserts, its scale and its spectacle. But at its core, this is not a war epic. It is a slow psychological collapse of a man who wanted to become a legend and ended up losing himself instead.
Outrageous! You filthy little wolf!
T.E. Lawrence does not fall in a single dramatic moment. He unravels quietly, gradually, almost beautifully. And that is what makes his breakdown so curious as well as haunting. When we first meet Lawrence, he doesn't look like a future war hero. He is arrogant.
I must say, Lawrence.
Sorry.
You're a clown, Lawrence.
Slightly theatrical, detached from authority. He burns out a match with his fingers just to prove that he can tolerate pain.
Oh! It damn well hurts.
Certainly it has.
Even in this tiny moment, the film quietly tells us something important. Lawrence begins the story as an outsider, not fully accepted by British command,
You don't seem able to perform your present duties properly.
not fully understood by his peers. He doesn't fit nearly into the system. And that sense of not belonging becomes the foundation of everything that follows. He is sent to Arabia almost casually, as if he is a minor inconvenience. But what begins as a simple assignment turns into something far more dangerous. Because Lawrence doesn't just want to explore history, he wants to shape it.
The need is absolute. Then we need the English engineers.
No!
Take English engineers and you'll take English government.
In England, he is another officer. In Arabia, he becomes something else. He adopts the clothing, learns the costume, starts speaking as if he belongs to the land, and slowly, he begins to believe he is not just participating in this conflict, he believes he is chosen. The march across the Nefud desert is a turning point. No British officer would attempt something so reckless. But Lawrence insists. He wants to prove something. When Gasim is lost in the desert, everyone accepts it as fate. But Lawrence does not. He rides back alone to save him. It is heroic, it is cinematic, it is mythic. But here's the psychological shift. He enjoys the idea that he has done the impossible. The Arabs begin to see him differently. And more importantly, Lawrence begins to see himself differently. Then comes one of the most shocking moments in the film. Gasim must be executed to prevent tribal conflict. No one wants to do it. It would create blood revenge. So Lawrence volunteers. At first, it seems like sacrifice, a way to prevent war between tribes. But when he pulls the trigger, something changes. There's a flicker in his eyes, a smile, a realization. He doesn't just feel responsibility, he feels power. This is the moment where Lawrence discovers something dangerous inside himself. He is capable of violence, and worse, he is capable of enjoying it. From here, his psychological tragedy begins to bend. He is no longer just a bridge between culture. He became someone who believes he can stand above them. As victories pile up, Lawrence's self-image expands. He begins dressing entirely in Arab robes, rejecting British uniform. He speaks dramatically, moves dramatically, and commands dramatically. The desert becomes his stage. But beneath the charisma lies insecurity. The more people admire him, the more he needs that admiration. The more impossible the task, the more he wants to attempt it. This is not pure heroism, this is identity construction.
You are watching Prime Cinephile, and if you love movies as much as I love, don't forget to subscribe for more deeply rooted videos about cinema.
Lawrence is building a version of himself that feels meaningful, larger than life. And when a man begins to see himself as untouchable, reality eventually corrects him. The torture scene in Deraa is perhaps the most psychologically important moment in the entire film. Lawrence captured, beaten, and humiliated. For the first time, he is powerless. The myth collapses. The invincible desert prince is reduced to a vulnerable man. And when he returns, something is different. He is quieter, darker, and unstable. He tells General Allenby that he enjoyed killing. That line is not casual. It is confession. The experience in Deraa does not humble him, it fractures him.
These are not ordinary men.
I don't want ordinary men.
He no longer knows whether he is a hero, a fraud, or something worse. The illusion that he is above pain disappears, and once that illusion is gone, his psyche begins to spiral. After Deraa, Lawrence lenses fully into brutality. The massacre at Tafas is not strategy, it is rage. He orders no prisoners, he screams, he charges into chaos. Camera no longer frames him as majestic, it frames him as consumed.
Enough, make them stop.
This is no longer about Arab independence. This is no longer about British politics. This is about a man trying to silence the confusion inside himself through violence. There is something terrifying about how calm he was before and how unhinged he becomes now. The desert once gave him identity, now it strips it away. When Damascus is captured, Lawrence imagines a united Arab government, but reality introduces again political division, tribal conflict, British manipulation. The grand vision dissolves, and with it, the last piece of Lawrence's constructed self. He is not a savior, he is not a kingmaker, he is a tool, and he realizes it too late. This realization is devastating, because everything he endured, everything he became, was built on a belief that he was shaping destiny. But destiny was shaping him and discarding him. By the end of the film, Lawrence is emotionally hollow. He rejects praise, rejects rank, rejects ceremony. The man who once smiled at his own legend now looks exhausted by it. He no longer belongs in Arabia, but he no longer belongs in England either. He is psychologically fractured. This is the true tragedy of T.E. Lawrence. What makes Lawrence's psychological collapse so powerful is that it does not happen suddenly. There is no dramatic villain turn, no single moment where he declares evil. Instead, we watch ego grow. We watch admiration feed identity. We watch trauma distort perception. It feels real because it is gradual. Because the film allows us to admire him first and then slowly question him. David Lean does something brilliant here. He never judges Lawrence directly. He simply shows us the consequences of a man who tries to turn himself into myth. At the end of the film, Lawrence sits in a jeep, leaving Arabia behind. No music of triumph, no celebration, just wind and distance. A man who once commanded armies now looks small again. The desert remains, the legend remains, but the man inside the legend is gone. Lawrence of Arabia is often praised for its scale, its cinematography, its historical importance, but its greatest achievement is psychological. It tells the story of a man who wanted to escape being ordinary, a man who found purpose in conflict, a man who mistook admiration for identity, and in the process slowly dismantled itself. Lawrence does not simply break, he expands beyond what he can emotionally contain, and that expansion tears him apart. That is why his story still resonates today, because it is not just about war. It is about ego, about identity, about the dangerous desire to become unforgettable. So what do you think about this movie?
If you wanted to share something interesting with us, share your thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to see your opinion about that. And if you truly enjoy this video, make sure you like, share and subscribe to Prime Cinephile. Till then, keep watching films, keep inspiring, keep learning and enjoy the greatest frames of cinematic beauty.